If you thought my last video on TikTok's abusive comfort creator, Lexity or Anastasia was bad, then you're gonna want to enter the brace position for the next 2 hours or so, because this video here is gonna be a real bloody doozy. Because today we're gonna be going over every other victim of hers, including the pregnant woman that she got arrested for physically assaulting. Before that though, be sure to subscribe to the channel. I got a bunch of you commenting on my last video, basically begging me to not buzz my hair off next year. So I'll tell you what, yeah, when this video comes out, I'll put a story up on my Instagram with a wee poll asking whether or not I should do it, and I'm not even joking you, that will be the deciding factor. It'll be in the description if you want to find it, so if you care about that at all, then give it a vote, yeah? I love allowing thousands of strangers to make life-altering decisions for me. For now though, get subscribed and let's have a look at this video by Lexity about apologies.
So the word sorry isn't even close to what an apology is, and just saying the word sorry outside of understanding why someone was hurt and promising to do better in the future.
So just to be clear, this is a video of Anastasia saying a bunch of phrases that she thinks people use when they're not actually sorry, but want to sort of, I guess, give the facade of being sorry. But the funny thing about it is, I swear to God, later on in this video, you'll see that she uses, like, every one of these phrases. I say later on, I bet she's already, you know what, let's just hear her out, and let's actually listen to what these terms are.
I'll tell you a couple things that aren't apologies. I'm so sorry I'm such a terrible person. I'm so sorry I didn't know everything. I'm so sorry you made me do that. None of those are apologies, okay?
Yeah, I mean, that's exactly what happened when she yelled at Marcella's face for hours on end. In her own house, mind you. And then at the end of it all was like, well, yeah, sorry, but it was kind of her fault. Which, look, if you don't know anything I'm talking about or who Marcella is, I would recommend you go watch my last video on this, lassie, because yes, I have made 2 now. This obviously being the second. I don't know why you'd be watching this one if you've not seen the last one, but it is rather important for context, but, you know, I can't make you do anything at the end of the day. If you want to stick with this one and not watch the other one, then fair fucks. You know, do your thing.
You take responsibility for your part in getting them hurt, and you promise to do better in the future. Anything outside of that isn't a fucking apology, okay? And saying the word sorry outside of understanding how someone was hurt and promising to do better means nothing.
You know what it is, right? First of all, obviously, like, I could sit here and do the obvious commentary thing, oh, she's a hypocrite, she does all these things herself, but at the end of it all, let's acknowledge what this actually is. It's a bunch of bullshit like that everyone already knows. So you get told this at 6-year-old, oh, you know, saying I'm sorry you feel that way, or I'm sorry you made me do this isn't a real apology, you have to say sorry and you have to mean it. It's like, everyone knows this already. You're not really giving any outstanding or exemplary information. It's like if I made a fucking YouTube video, oh, hey, sweet pea, just so you know, lying is bad, because when you lie, it creates this web, and the more you lie, the harder it is to keep up those lies, and reality is so big, and you're so small, and you want to do something that goes against the actual realness of the world? You think you're more powerful than eternity, infinity, reality, and beyond? Like, it all just boils down to, you probably shouldn't lie very much, which, like, yeah, we all know that. Those are the kind of morals you get when you watch the fucking Minions movie, right? We don't need to hear Anastasia or Lexity talk about it on Instagram. I genuinely feel as though I get more education from a fucking minion than this lassie. I could watch a dog eat its own vomit and come out with more information and happier than watching a Lexity video. In fact, Naz, replay 5 seconds of the video we just watched, but instead of Lexity talking, put a dog eating its own vomit.
And saying the word sorry outside of understanding how...
Do you see how that makes the video, like, 10 times better on every front?
Put it this way, if being a man was everything that being a woman was, and extra things, like everything was easier and nothing was harder as a man, why on earth would any men ever transition to being a woman? Being a man and being a woman are both fundamentally restrictive. They're just restrictive in different ways.
This is very worrying coming from a transgender person, because it sounds as though you don't understand what being transgender is. And again, this is coming from a cis person, so correct me if I'm wrong, but you don't transition because you like the perks that the other gender may or may not have. You transition because you are fundamentally uncomfortable and, I don't know, like, you have a mindset, you have a belief about your body or gender that is incongruent with your current body. Like, you look in the mirror, you look at your body, you look at the gender that you are perceived to be, and you think, no, this is not who I am. This goes against everything that I believe myself to be. You don't just think, oh, men have it easier than women, so I'm gonna transition into being a man. Like, no, that's not how it fucking works. And the fact that you're the one parroting this is incredibly worrying, actually. That's not what being transgender is. Like, it isn't. No one is trans because they want to be. It's like being gay. You don't choose to be gay, and gay people can't go, oh, you know what? Life is actually easier for straight people, so I'm straight now. I'm interested in women now. I've changed that. Easy. Easy. Fucking push of a button. Fucking Anastasia, man. This is so dumb. I can't believe she's saying this of all people. Fuck me.
Trans people are people who prefer the restrictions that is opposite to the ones they were assigned at birth, right? Like, that's what the system is. That's what the system is.
No, it's not. That's not what being trans is.
Being a man is exactly as restrictive as being a woman.
How could anyone... What? Oh man, you know what? I'm not even gonna fucking say anything about that, but I don't think she knows what being transgender is, which is insane to say, but now I believe that it's true. I'd really like to know what you guys think of that in the it's a shame that this happened, this part in the video, because a lot of people won't reach this far. You know what I'm gonna do? When I get this video sent back to me, I'm actually gonna take this part, I'm gonna put it nearer to the start of the video, but just know, I'm reacting to this at the end of the fucking recording, like 4 hours in. But I'm bringing it to the start because I actually want to hear like some conversation about this in the comments, or if I'm out of line at all, or if she's correct and I have no room to talk about this as a cis man, but like, I don't know, I'm incredibly confused by that statement because I don't believe that's what trans is. I don't think transgender people transition because they enjoy the perks of the other fucking gender, or it's not as restrictive. Gender dysphoria is a lot deeper and a lot more difficult to understand and a lot more personal and idiosyncratic than that. I think that's a really fucking stupid thing to say. That's actually really annoyed me now, her fucking saying that. Genuinely, I really do want to know what you guys think of that, so be sure to let me know in the comments, yeah? Especially if you're trans yourself. Anyway, yeah, you got me. I'm stalling because now we get into the really depressing shit, which is Anastasia's next victim, known as Marcy. Not to be confused with Marcella. It's just, you know, they have similar names. It's a bit confusing, but, you know, Marcy, Marcella, if you're not a fucking idiot, then you can tell them apart.
So I met Anastasia about 2 months ago, I would say, here at a local bar in Southern Oregon. It was very natural. I didn't know about their following at first, so that wasn't something that persuaded me to know Lexity. We didn't get the chance to hang out for a few months, which was fine. We were texting back and forth. It was good. A little backstory, I should say. I did call Anastasia while I was in Tennessee over the holidays. I did discuss some things about what I was going through in my relationship with her, looking for support, looking for advice. She gave me advice. It was fine. We moved on. There was no like weird feelings whatsoever. So I come back from my trip and we were already talking about maybe seeing each other when I got back. And I didn't know if she had come back from her road trip yet. She just came from Colorado. We tried to plan a hangout. It doesn't work. We planned another hangout, which was 2 days ago. She said she wanted to take me out to dinner. So I was like, heck yeah, that sounds awesome. I've been wanting to actually talk with you and pick your brain. And so I was very excited. Anastasia seemed very respectable to me as a person. I get picked up by her in her van, and the first thing I'm asked is, you know, are you in an open relationship? To which I say, no, I am not. I am in a monogamous relationship. We can totally talk about it. You know, just we're meeting each other for the first time. So, you know, we'll get there. Like, you'll learn who I am. I'll learn who you are. Anastasia was pressuring me to, you know, understand that I deserved better and I needed to leave my relationship.
Okay, we were good. So for like, I would say for the first 70 seconds or so, everything was peachy, everything was class and shiny and clean. You know, they meet at the bar. It's like a classic setup to a joke, except the punchline here is that Anastasia's an abusive... Sorry, I can't use that word. My bad. I think she misunderstood punchline with punching a pregnant woman. It really isn't funny. Like, you know what? Like, that is something we'll talk about later because it's insane. That's one of the more recent things, though. We got to go over all the other victims first. But this in particular is like, come on, man. How can you be so fucking socially inept but have a whole career giving advice on social cues? Like if Jimmy Savile gave parenting advice.
Somebody like her could treat me so much better, and that, you know, I'm obviously a submissive woman that needs a dominant mommy to take care of her.
If you compiled every nice guy and every nice girl's like subreddit post into one fucking human being, it would be Lexity. Like, she follows every single one to a T. Like the love bombing to start off with, and then something goes wrong. Fuck you, you fucking piece of shit. And then maybe going back to the love bombing and then fucking getting really annoyed when you're sick of her shit, basically. Oh, I think you're great. I think you're beautiful. I think you're amazing. Oh, thank you so much, but I'm in a monogamous relationship. Yeah, well, fuck you. You're ugly. I didn't like you. As to be fair, she's not done that yet. So we'll give her some credit. All she said is, you know, you should break up despite me not knowing you or your partner at all. You know what I love as well is that, like, in the last video, she was constantly going on about how, like, she doesn't need a relationship, even though she gets approached by so many people and she could easily find one like that if she wanted to. But then here she is, like, begging some random person that they met at a bar, like, once or twice to leave their fucking relationship because they can treat them better or some dumb shit. Like, it's like, you're not being sly here.
But unfortunately, because I was in shock. I didn't know how to process the fact that my boundaries were being actively broken, that I continued to be nice and sweet and kind of shy, to where I believe she took that on her own to be like, oh, this person like is shy because she's being activated into her submissive mode because I need to be her dommy mommy. And that's not the case. I was very insecure. I was nervous. I didn't know how to tell this person that I felt like they kept breaking my boundaries, because I'm still working on that. I'm still actively healing. So I people pleased Anastasia, and I would just like giggle at her like questions, and she was very intense with the like, why are you even with him? Like, are you sure, you know, that's what you want for yourself? Because don't you believe that you deserve better? And like, of course, I always believe I deserve the best for myself. But it was hard to be like, yo, like, this is my life though. Like, you don't get to just come in here and tell me what I've been doing wrong in my own life here. Like, just because I gave a small indicator that I needed some friends because I was going through a hard time in a relationship situation. You know, that's not fair to me. So after dinner, we're walking to the park. And I love platonic affection. I love hugging.
I'm gearing up heavy for the big butt at the end of that. So here's a boundary. How the fuck has Anastasia managed to break this one then? Because already it's like the classic thing of, oh, you're flirting with someone and they're not telling you to fuck off, but it's very obvious that they're uncomfortable with your advancements, right? But because they're not actively telling you to fuck off and that you're a piece of shit and that they're very uncomfortable by your presence, you take that as, oh, nice. Reciprocated. You're off to the park? Well, I'm invited, because my love is requited. Love makes her intentions seem way too fucking pure here. She's just a mug.
I hugged Anastasia, and it was nice. It was a really good hug. But from like the hug on, I felt like she was really pressuring me to be romantic or sexual with her. She gave me her nice jacket. It was really warm. We went on the bench in front of this pond to talk and just sit and digest. And Anastasia was trying to kiss me. I was kind of trying to pull away and just not give in to that. And then next thing I know, Anastasia is groping my breast.
Fucking hell. Like, Jesus Christ. Well, I get flirting is all about sort of plausible deniability and sort of maybe like upping the temperature slightly. But first of all, that should have ended hours ago. If you're a normal person and you're trying to flirt with someone, right? Maybe you start off with a suggestive comment or so, and if they seem into it, then you ramp it up slightly, maybe a touch on the back or some shit like that, right? But if your first suggestive comment gets a very like clear dismissal from them, you stop there. You keep it platonic. Or if your only intention was to like get something sexual out of it for some reason, then you fuck off. And you probably shouldn't have even been there to begin with. I say probably. You shouldn't have even been there to begin with. When you make that first move and they dismiss it and they're clearly not interested, but you still choose to ramp up, that's sexual assault. You know, that's when it goes from consensual, fun, flirty times to sexual assault. Or at the very least, sexual harassment. Although this is groping, like this is sexual assault, this. You know, she made the comment about I could treat you better. That was dismissed, right? Maybe not in the most clear way, but she wasn't into it, right? And the only way Anastasia would see Marcy as being interested in that comment is if she was willingly deluding herself into thinking so, right? Because she thinks she's this fucking, like, I don't know, highly desirable being. But yeah, there's no way she's not interested in me. She must love that I want to be with her and that I want her to break up with her fucking man despite not knowing me at all. However, despite that dismissal, she still went in for a kiss, right? That's sexual harassment already. And then the kiss has been denied. You don't ramp it up further. It's like, maybe you misunderstood the first contextual clue. Now that the kiss has been denied, it's been swerved, she was not comfortable with it, you know, okay, here's where it ends. When you take it one further up from there, in the fucking park of all places, like you're doing textbook sexual assault. Because it's like, even if she did reciprocate the kiss and it was a really great, lovely moment or whatever, that would still be really fucking, that's like 10 steps further up from what the next step should be. Because you're in the fucking park and you don't know this woman. That's like taking your first steps and then going on a marathon at like fucking 3 years old. But that's all irrelevant anyway, because she wasn't even interested in the kiss. So it is just fucking, you know what? It is disgusting. You know, I know I'm being like loud and exasperated in these videos, but it is fucking disgusting what she's just done there. And I know there's not really any direct evidence yet, but she does go on to admit that the groping did take take place. Like, let's not get it twisted here. She was extremely abusive when it came to Marcella and is now sexually assaulting Marcy. There's no two ways about it, man. That's exactly what this is. And there's still more to this video as well, so it gets a lot worse.
And I froze because I didn't know what the fuck to do. I'm a non-confrontational person. I want to be nice more than I want to be mean, so that kind of gets me into trouble sometimes because I have a hard time being like, hey, that wasn't okay. And unfortunately, I didn't do that in that moment. So the evening continued. We got into her van. She went and got me a vape, which I'm very thankful for. I was very stressed out because I didn't have my vape with me. I'm very grateful for that, but let's not let that sugarcoat what else happened. I'm glad I had that vape so I could get my brain together to figure out what I needed to do, because I didn't want to disrespect Anastasia. I don't want to hurt people, so I was trying to just figure out.
Yeah, based on her releasing this video, I think she's sort of gone over that hurdle now, which is good, by the way. That sort of people-pleasing mentality of not wanting to hurt the person who's just done fucking horrible shit to you. I feel like she's past that now and realized, no, I'm a victim here. I'm allowed to speak my truth. I'm allowed to tell people how much of a fucking horrible mug this girl is. To hopefully stop people in the future from getting involved with her in the same way that I was. And of course, there should be no shame whatsoever in not making the boundaries clear, or I suppose reacting in a stronger manner when the initial incident happened. Being groped in a public area can absolutely trigger a freeze response, especially if you're, you know, naturally a people-pleasing type of person, you're going through a rough time. It makes total sense. So I definitely hope that they're not too hard on themselves when it comes to, you know, that whole thing. And yeah, I'm sure I don't need to make this any clearer, but buying a fucking Lost Mary afterwards does not make it any better. That's like stabbing someone in the abdomen, but then having the courtesy to call the ambulance on them afterwards.
I wasn't really even thinking about the fact that she might have been in a manic state or something. And so we are in her van. We are on the freeway now. Anastasia's still kind of like talking to me about if I'm happy in my relationship, if I'm sure that's what I want. And then she starts getting into like why nobody wants her as a partner and why everyone else she encounters can find a partner for themselves, but she never can. And then it kind of got weird where she was kind of directing it towards me, and she was like, you know, why can't I be good enough for you? What, like, I'm right here. Like, why can't I just provide for you and love you and care for you in the way that you need? And I'm in the passenger seat, like, what is happening? Because there's no way that this person took one phone call of me needing, like, relationship advice and having a hard time to, like, trying to convince me that I need to, like, date them, or, like, I'm a bad person if I don't do that, like, in that second moment with them. That's how I felt.
Yeah, I mean, it looks as though she just has a habit of meeting people and immediately trying to get into relationships with them, or, I don't know, initiate something sexual with them. Just moving way too quickly in an abusive and harassmental way. Sort of does make me wonder, because these are the people who have come out with their experiences and stuff. It does genuinely make me wonder, like, how many fans of hers has she contacted and had relationships with like this, maybe whether it be a short-term fling or maybe, who knows, right? And they haven't come out and spoken about it. Because she absolutely seems like the type of person to use her influence, use her, I guess, position as someone with followers to chat to fans or, you know, meet with them and, I don't know, do whatever the fuck she feels as though she wants to. Because how else could she feel as though she has, like, the power or influence or ability to do whatever she wants with whoever she meets? Even if it's someone like Marcy who doesn't know her and is in a relationship. Obviously, I don't have any direct evidence that she is doing that sort of thing, but it definitely wouldn't surprise me. And the behavior she's exhibiting does definitely line up with that.
Anastasia kept asking if I wanted to be intimate with her, which I had to keep reminding her no, I don't. Just because I find her attractive doesn't mean shit. Okay, I set my boundaries from the get-go, even if I am a non-confrontational, shy-like person when I'm unsure. I asked Anastasia where we were going because I realized that we were just driving on the freeway down to California, and I did not know where we were going. I wanted to go home. I didn't know what the plan was for the night, but I was ready to go home. So I asked Anastasia if I could go home. And she said yes, but she made me feel bad about it. She was like, oh, well, you know, like, why don't you just want to go to the ocean? Like, we could just go to the ocean, like. And I was like, you know, I kind of want to, like, plan an ocean trip, like, a day in advance or something before we do all of that. Like, I wanted, like, change her clothes, all that stuff.
How terrifying would that be, by the way? You're now in a small enclosed metal box with the person who just groped you in public. That was in public, in front of people. Imagine the fucking fear that would be induced within you when you're like, you and them, and it's no one else is around you. If she's willing to do that in front of people, then what the fuck would she be willing to do when no one else is around? Of course Marcy wanted to go home at that point. I'd be willing to bet she probably never wanted to see her again. It's like, okay, I gave it a good effort, I gave it a shot, you are not the type of person I thought you'd be. I would be more than happy never talking to you again.
And Anastasia was basically like upset that no one wanted to. So we turn around, she's driving me home, and she starts psychoanalyzing me because she's realizing I'm shutting down, and she is asking me like, did I do anything? What's wrong? And I will take accountability that this was my bad because I'm still healing from telling people, hey, you were making me uncomfortable. So I did not feel like I could tell Anastasia that I was uncomfortable. I was still trying to respect her. I know, you know, this is my first time meeting this person. I don't know how they react or how they're going to respond or anything like that. So I'm putting all this into consideration and still trying to be kind. It gets to the point where Anastasia is worried about me. She pulls over and she looks at me and she goes like, can I hold you? And I go, no, I actually don't want to be touched right now. And it took a few times for me to tell her that. And she goes, okay, I understand. I really just wanted to go home. I didn't know how to tell her that. So we're going home. She's driving to drop me off, and she's kind of like making me feel weird about it. She is like basically cold shouldering me. It felt like, where it was like she was like, what's wrong, blah 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 blah. We get back to where I'm getting dropped off, and Anastasia is upset that I'm going back to my boyfriend's house and not staying with her. And she tells me basically like, I just can't believe you're going with him and not with me. And I was like, and I started crying in front of her, and I was like, hey dude, I just needed a friend tonight. I'm going through my own things as well, and I'm very sorry if I put any of those onto you that made you feel like I need that much saving, because I don't. But I appreciate you, and I understand where you're coming from, and I appreciate the concern. But unfortunately, it didn't end the way I thought it would. I still felt like I was in the wrong because Lexity was butthurt, and I couldn't understand why. And I kind of told Anastasia like we would just talk about it later. And it wasn't until the next day, like middle of the next day, that I had realized like the severity of what had happened.
By the way, she said earlier, like, oh, this is my bad, this is on me, what happened next. I don't agree with her at all. She managed to get home safely. So whatever the fuck she did in that van, whatever she said in that van, totally fine. Like, you don't want to go on the aggressive like that when you're in a small enclosed area with someone that you know is willing to grope you in public. It's like, at that point, it's like, you know what, I'm in this fucking place, whatever I need to do to get home safely and avoid this person is the right thing to do. Because telling her that she's done something wrong, or triggering her old PTSD, whatever the fuck she phrases it, we know can make her go fucking mental and scream at you for hours on end. Talking to Anastasia is like playing a Telltale game. It's like walking this fucking tightrope of like, if I fuck up here, it's curtains for me. So I really don't think she had done anything wrong at that point. Whatever helps her survive, whatever gets her home safely without any more sexual assault is totally fine. But all I'm trying to get across here is that I really don't think she has anything to be ashamed of here.
Still feel really disgusted. I feel used. I feel like I can't trust myself right now or anybody else. I don't want to cause harm to Anastasia or anybody, like I said, but it is important to also talk about these things because I still feel bad, because I can understand like the concern Anastasia may have had for me in my relationship, but at the end of the day, I'm a stranger.
Yeah, she wasn't fucking concerned at all. She has this habitual knack for finding people who are in, like, I guess, for lack of a better word, weaker positions than her. And what I mean by that is people who are lower when it comes to, like, power imbalances, right? So with Marcella, for example, it was someone who was a fan. Immediately, there's a power imbalance. And then with Marcy, there's a dynamic there where she is struggling, and Anastasia knows that she is struggling. It was she's struggling so much that she was willing to talk to a stranger about how much she was struggling. So in Anastasia's mind, she's like, oh, here's someone who's going through something that I can maybe exploit because they might not be in the right mental state to tell me to fuck off, essentially. Like, it's like, yeah, she's a completely abusive, exploitative fucking arsehole. I don't think there was any genuine care from her to Marcy here. And again, it would be one thing if this was the one and only victim. Maybe it was just, her being so shit socially that she accidentally sexually assaulted someone. But no, it really is a pattern of behavior. Like, I know it's like, that is a term that might be overly used on commentary YouTube, but I really can't think of a better way to describe what Anastasia is doing here. Now, we'll go over the rest of what Marcy has to say about this whole thing, as well as proof that the groping actually did take place, but I want to make it clear that luckily things do seem to be looking a bit better for her nowadays. I want to come here and say thank you for your support. It has helped me to calm down and start moving on and take a break from the screen. At the end of the day, I hope Lexity gets the help that she needs, and I will continue healing myself and look into where I need to strengthen my own boundaries. I have therapy tomorrow, so I can talk about all of this too. Thank you for being here for me. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Oh my god, there's some terminally online shit in these comments, by the way. Yep, this seals the deal for me. She's an egotistical narcissist dealing with manic symptoms and has crossed too many boundaries. This is sexual assault. This is disgusting. Wishing you the best. Like, the most reasonable and, like, you know, I don't know, factual comment ever. Like, that's completely correct. I don't know how you can argue with that. Hey, as someone with MPD and as an abuse victim that developed MPD due to being abused, you are being ableist. You can criticize an abuser without insulting mentally ill people, those with NPD and bipolar disorder. It's like, first of all, that original comment did not mention bipolar at all. I'm pretty sure that people with BPD don't even experience mania, and that's like, you know, a misconception. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure that's the case. And labeling someone as a narcissist does not necessarily mean that you're like psycho-analyzing them into having actual NPD. It's like how being depressed doesn't mean that you actually have depression. This comment hit the nail on the head, to be fair. Your safest bet while in the vehicle and they are driving and emotionally charged is to placate them. You are correct that you don't know how they would react. Acknowledging a fawn response after the fact can make you feel bad, but it's a mechanism to help keep you safe. Fawning in that car kept you safer than betting on telling them the truth. That's absolute facts, because we know that Marcella, when she said something that, you know, Anastasia didn't like, even though it was completely reasonable, she went off the fucking rails. If that happened in the vehicle that she was driving, who knows what would have went down. Here's a wee photo here as well, just to prove that they actually did meet. And then, like, you look at these fucking messages where, like, she's calling her baby and shit, which, like, you know, I understand that is a thing that happens in platonic female relationships or friendships and shit, but knowing that, you know, Anastasia was looking at her or viewing her in that way, like a sexual way, it's not platonic anymore. Like, it's just fucking weird, because you know that she had some ulterior motives and intentions behind those messages. And look at this as well. She's like phrased the initial meetup as let's grab food or something. Like, she's totally not phrasing it as though she's seeing it as a date, when you know for a fact she saw what they, like, that wee trip they went on as a date. So it's just she was too pussy to actually, you know, say it, because she knew that Marcy didn't fucking see her that way. It is like classic 14-year-old nice guy / nice girl's behavior. And here we go. This is interesting. This is Lexity admitting to grabbing Marcy's boob on live.
She said last night that she's super into me on, like, are you kidding me? I fucking did grab her boob, but also like she grabbed a lot of parts of me, and like that was I asked if that was okay. That was consensual.
I grabbed her boob, but she also touched me. I mean, she made it clear in that video that she likes platonic sort of, that she likes physical touch platonically. I don't know if Lexity considers a fucking hug to be on the same level as literally groping someone's, like, breasts or whatever. It's also extremely worrying that she considers asking if it was okay on the same level as consenting. It's very interesting that it wasn't like, oh, I asked her if it was okay, and she said, yeah, go ahead. It was just, I asked her if it was okay. It was consensual. When, like, no, that's not how consent works. I asked her if it was okay, so we're good, right? All right, well, what did she say to that, though? Well, it was consensual, but things, you know, imaginably, they get much, much worse.
Are they saying that? Yeah, I know, but that's okay. You're saying that, actually. See, you're the one who's saying that, because, like, the way rumors work is if you spread a rumor, you actually are the one spreading the rumor at a certain point. But, like, yeah.
I mean, again, this is like really actually philosophically quite intellectually capable conversation that we're getting right here. The thing is, if you spread a rumor, then you are actually the one spreading the rumor. Oh, man. I can see why you have a fucking career. This is incredible commentary. What the fuck am I even doing here? This should not be funny at all. Why are you sexual? Sorry, I'm sorry. But, like, come on now. Why are you sexist, Lou, as sualt? It is an excellent question, but fucking, like, how can you be that horrible at spelling, man?
It's not true. Well, I didn't though. And what, girl? And also, what am I, like, okay, like, be specific. If you're gonna accuse me of anything, like, literally be specific, because what that girl said I did was go on a date with her, and then ask her if I could hug her, and then hug her. She grabbed my butt. I grabbed her boob, right, around her. I didn't really, like, I mean, I did grab it, but, like, I just hugged her, and, like, she was very small. She did grab my butt.
I asked her if that was okay also. She said it was okay, but she had a partner. And so she felt pressured because she was scared of me. But the thing is like, I didn't do anything scary. I asked for every single part of it. And there is a reason that bigotry against trans people is called transphobia. She felt scared of me because she's transphobic, because she saw me as a man or saw me as some scary creature.
Maybe it's just because you're bigger and stronger than her. Maybe it's because the whole time you were asking her really strange, suggestive questions about her leaving her relationship and getting with you instead. Like, it was very obvious to her that you wanted her, whether it be in an intimate way, a sexual way, a relationship kind of way. So if she were to deny your wishes to grope her or whatever, you might react badly. That's assuming anything you're saying is actually true, by the way. Like, we're really having to suspend disbelief here, because as much as it is like one person's word against another person's word, it's more like Anastasia's word versus like 10 victims' words against Anastasia, and also a police-confirmed incident where she assaulted a fucking pregnant woman. So how believable are her stories and her insistence that everything was consensual and great on her part? Can you really criticize me for not believing her every step of the way? At the very least, what we do know to be absolutely factually correct is that she was in a monogamous relationship. You knew that she was in a monogamous relationship, and then you groped her breasts in public. Now, obviously, at worst, it was unconsensual and sexual assault, but even at best, even if you did ask and she said yes, you know that she is in a monogamous relationship and is not interested in you. So why the fuck would you even have asked in the first place? And again, that is best case scenario. I don't believe that's actually what happened. I think it's a lot worse than that. You know, I don't think that it was as graceful as Anastasia is making it out to be.
Told me that the things I were doing was okay, even though she later regretted it. But like, that's not the way that works. I asked. I genuinely tried as hard as possible to make her comfortable. And the reality is like, she invited me to a park. Like, she invited me on a date to a restaurant, and then we went after that. I was like, hey, what do you want to do? And she was like, I want to walk through a park in the middle of the night at like 12 o'clock at night.
Okay, hang on. Let's have a look at the messages real quick. Interesting that it looks like from these text messages, you were the one who initiated the, I don't know, the meet-up, date, whatever the fuck you saw it as. Yeah, look, this is clearly you saying, I'm in redacted right now, actually. We should go do something today. Maybe grab food or something. And you called her baby and asked to take her out to dinner tonight. So no, she was not the one who initiated. It was clearly you. And this is what I mean. Like, if you're so willing to lie about something so easily disprovable, then why the fuck should I believe you when you say that it was all completely consensual? Especially when you've shown no, like, initiative or, I guess, ability to do anything of the sort previously or in the future. It's like, who do I believe here? The victim whose story lines up with every other victim's, or the person who recently got done for assaulting a pregnant woman and abusing multiple people with very precarious and intentional power dynamics involved? Now, obviously, there's a limit to that, right? Not every single story. You're not allowed to just sort of go online and make up a story and immediately be believed, right? Because that is shitty, right? You can't just immediately believe everything that is said about a person just because you do not like them. But that is not what I'm doing here. I'm not just believing blindly what the victim is saying about Anastasia, right? There is a decent amount of evidence. We know some things that did happen factually, and the rest we just sort of need to fill in the blanks on. But unfortunately, even if everything is absolutely best case scenario, Anastasia is still being a fucking weirdo.
Or go on a walk through a park. Okay, fun, great. Is that something that you would invite someone who you are afraid of to do? Right? Like, would you, if you were feeling uncomfortable and unsafe, would you invite them to go for a walk through a park? Which I was pretty reluctant to do, not because I was afraid of her or anything, but just because it was cold, you know? And then I asked for consent for every single part of every single thing that happened, for which she was incredibly flirtatious. She regretted it because she had a partner, and her staying with her partner was her living situation, right? Like, that's like she needed her partner to be with her, otherwise she didn't have anywhere to live. So she regretted cheating on her partner with me after the fact, because it meant that she wasn't gonna have a place to live. She did consent.
So even she admits that it was cheating. They engaged in the act of cheating. So what the fuck were you doing trying to grope her then? Like, yeah, you know she's in a relationship, but that should be it, right? Respect that boundary.
You'd be wanting to end the date? Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I literally took her home the instant she asked me to. I was like, hey, do you want to go home? Do you want to do this? Because I wanted to go to the beach. I wanted to drive to the beach, which was like a 2-hour drive, right? Which seemed spontaneous. It was spontaneous. I'm a romantic. But I asked her, and as soon as she said, I want to go...
You want to go to the beach even at 2 a.m. on a 2-hour drive, But you didn't want to go to the park because the park was too cold. But the beach, totally, that's okay. Because everyone knows at 2 a.m. the beach it's like fucking Egypt over there. How are you reluctant to go to the park but willing to drive 2 fucking hours to go to the beach? I know I'm being harsh. I know for some people they might think I'm not being as logical as I usually am, but there are so many victims that we will talk about after this one that it makes it very difficult to believe everything that she's saying about, well, she invited me to go to the park because she wasn't scared of me at all. But then in the same breath, you're saying, oh no, she was scared of me because she's transphobic and sees me as a man or something?
I drove her home immediately and dropped her off. And I said, I hope you have a great night. Is there a reason you're ignoring all my comments? I don't know. What did you say? Am I responding to any comments? The blackout drunk girl who sexually assaulted me, you mean? Yeah, Haylee sexually assaulted me. Haylee sexually assaulted me, and because she's drunk, she decided that she gets to accuse me of sexually assaulting her.
Oh god, okay, so Haylee, we'll talk about Haylee later. That's about 2 victims away, unfortunately. But don't worry, we will get to her later. That's a whole other story, as I'm sure, you know, you can tell. Also, I've just noticed she has a fucking dog with her, which is worrying, to say the least, considering what we learned about her relationship with dogs in the last video and what she thinks is appropriate to do around them. You better hope she has no fucking alcohol in that gaff, because also, half the comment section in my last video was just talking about how it's actually okay to feed horses beer, which, like, yeah, very interesting. Like, admittedly, I'm very interested in that, and it was very sort of eye-opening for me. I didn't know about that, and I appreciate all the horse people telling me about that. But at the same time, after the first 100 or so comments telling me that it was a thing that happens, I got the memo at that point, right? So I need to be really careful not to make mistakes in these videos, because I know I'm not gonna get 1 or 2 comments correcting me. It will be the entire fucking comment section, no matter how pedantic the mistake that I make actually is.
Not the way it works. Yeah, drunk people can't consent, but they can sexually assault people. Like, fuck off. Man, we're done talking about this anyways. Yeah, no, I mean, like, the reality is I know what the truth is. And there's no legal, like anything against me. There's no real anything against me. There is literally just fucking rumors, right? Rumors that if you pay any attention to, they fucking disappear like smoke, because there's actually nothing, I didn't do anything, okay? So we're gonna ignore that, because why the fuck would I pay attention to that?
It's not just rumors, especially recently. It definitely isn't just rumors. You know, everything about the, like, Marcella's story, for example, that is a lot more set in stone and, like, factual, and we have every bit of evidence that we need to know exactly what happened there. And even with this Marcy situation, we have enough evidence to know that you were acting like a fucking weirdo. And then with later victims and later situations, there are police reports and police evidence that you assaulted a fucking pregnant woman. You know, I'd be curious to see how you talk your way out of that one. We're not even done with Marcy yet, however, because again, the worst is yet to come.
Fucking, she can take me to court if she thinks it's fucking true. Take me to fucking court, Marcy. You know what? Because, like, fucking Jesus Christ, if I fucking groped you, if I didn't fucking consent and I tried to convince you to fucking leave your partner, apparently I'm a fucking terrible person. Take me to fucking court, you lying cunt. Take me to fucking court. Do it. Do it. Fucking call the cops, because I know I will win, and you will fucking get arrested for fucking false allegations, because that is not fucking true, and I have no fucking idea why my fucking friends would use me like this, but apparently they want to. Just fucking use the fact that I'm successful by fucking manipulating me. Are you fucking kidding me? I asked. God damn it. And you know what? Yeah, I am angry. You would be angry if someone had fucking accused you of sexual assault too, okay? You would be too. Especially if you, fuck you. This is not helping at all? I don't care! What happened? I went on a date, and I asked a girl if I could hug.
Again, a date. This is the thing, right? These little inconsistencies and, like, these fucking cracks in the story really reveal, like, just how deranged and delusional she is. I went on a date. You never said it was a date in those text messages. She is in a monogamous relationship. You know she's in a monogamous relationship. She made it clear that she is not looking to open it. When you have to ask her during the date whether or not she's in an open relationship, that means you did not specify it was a date before it actually happened. If it is really a date, you need to make that clear before you do it. Otherwise, you're just being a fucking weirdo teenager, like, mindset. It wasn't a date, and they weren't actually your friend. You know, you had one phone call. They were going through some shit.
And I did hug her, right? And she hugged me, and she grabbed my butt, and I fucking grabbed her butt, and I grabbed her side too, and I asked her if it was okay that I was doing that, and she said yes, and then apparently she decided that she fucking regrets that, because she did have a fucking boyfriend who she spent the entire night trashing on and telling me how he fucking sucked, and she didn't feel like he like was spiritual enough for her, and how she was just doing her own thing. Like, and I suggested that maybe if she was just gonna do her own thing, which was the thing she said all night, then she shouldn't be with anyone, including her partner. I was not trying to get her to leave her partner for me. I said she was way spiritual for me. She was. I didn't want to be in a relationship with her. You know what? But I didn't think she wanted to be in a relationship with her partner, and as a friend, I gave her that fucking advice.
So if you didn't want to be in a relationship with her, if you weren't interested in her, why were you groping her? Why were you grabbing her butt? That's what I mean. It's like you don't, so again with this bullshit. Do you get in a relationship with me? No. Oh, well, I don't like you anyway. You're fucking ugly anyway. Is that right? Well, just a couple minutes ago, you were literally trying to grope me and like do a romantic 2 a.m. beach thing. In your words, you were on a date with her. There's just, oh man. Just annoying, really. Because Marcy's story doesn't really have any contradictions. Everything she says makes sense. There is a rhyme or reason to it, and the story never changes. This is completely different.
You know Marcy personally? You know Marcy personally? Good. Marcy just got kicked out of a house that, like, they won't let her back because she is crazy. She has fucking BPD, and she is fucking abusive. She is abusive. Hey? Like, yeah, she's my friend, but she's abusive.
What do you mean she's your friend? What, you still think she's your friend? What the fuck is actually going on? What do you mean she's your friend, but you're going on about her like this? You're telling her to meet you in court. You're calling her What do you mean she's your friend? You know what? Now I'm more confused than anything. I genuinely don't know what to make of that. What, you still consider her to be your friend after all this? So according to you, she is falsely accusing you of sexual assault, but she's your friend still. If someone was falsely accusing me of sexual assault, I don't think I would consider them a friend. I don't know, maybe that's just me. So look at how angry she's getting. Look how, like, mad they actually are and how fucking loud their voice can get. And we know she can do this for hours on end. It's like, yeah, I wonder why someone might be a little bit afraid of you when then we saw the picture, we saw the fucking size difference. But no, the only reason why she would be afraid or uncomfortable is if she's transphobic. There's no other reason. Okay, this one will be a bit shorter. It's a girl named Chloe who has only made sort of one Instagram story about the whole thing, but has largely decided to remain public about everything, which is completely respectable. Long story short, they followed each other on Instagram and then they met up and both unfollowed each other, and Chloe put this story out. A con artist, short for confidence artist, is a person who deceives or tricks others to gain money, possessions, or other personal benefits through fraudulent schemes. They rely on manipulation, persuasion, and gaining the victim's trust or confidence to carry out their scam. Con artists often use charm and clever tactics to exploit people's vulnerabilities, greed, or emotion. Take that info as you will. Here's Lexity's side to that encounter, by the way.
Well, the other thing is yeah. No, I would talk about that, but someone's mad at me. Like, actually, no, I will, because it's kind of funny. Chloe's mad at me for being a con artist because I bought an expensive van and I took her out to dinner, which is like, I mean, yeah, I did a nice thing for you, and also the van's not a secret. Benjamin is still busy, yeah.
Chloe's mad at you for having a van and look. Again, it's like Chloe said, I guess make of that what you will. That's really all there is to say about Chloe. Next comes Haylee, who was spoken about slightly in those clips about Marcy, but we're gonna hear from Haylee directly now.
That we could hang out. Essentially, I met Anastasia on her stream. She ended up following me on Instagram. She told me that we could hang out. I told her I would teach her to skin an animal and some of the taxidermy process. She told me it would take 2 weeks for her to get to me to visit. She showed up in 2 days, which really made me nervous. I already had plans that day to hang out with some other friends as well. It made me really nervous. I'm a recovering alcoholic. I did start drinking immediately when she told me that. It's my fault, not her fault that I started drinking. So by the time she got here, I was already really drunk. And I had missed her call when she got here about twice. And I could tell she was getting upset. She sent me a bunch of messages. She's like, how am I supposed to get in? If you're not gonna let me in, how am I supposed to see you? Are you gonna let me in, or am I leaving? Am I leaving town? And I'm like, no, I'm like, come on, like, I'm gonna try to help you find the place. I'm sorry. She found the place. We go inside. At this point, I am pretty much blacked out entirely. That's where like the night like ends for me, unfortunately, and picks up again a little bit later at a very scary, frightening, confusing time to wake up to what I'm about to talk about. Yeah, so essentially the photo that was taken, my girlfriend Sky took that photo, and I am completely blacked out drunk. I didn't even know the photo was taken until about a week.
Okay, let's get you that photo now, just so that you know what she's talking about. Here it is here, you've got Haylee and Anastasia. We'll let the video keep playing on now.
So fast forward, I wake up on the couch, and Anastasia has her head on my lap. And she's like sniffing my crotch. I hear her like sniffing my crotch. Her head is on my lap, and her hand is like on my crotch, like sort of like moving around a little bit. And I'm like, what is happening? Because the last thing I remember was her like getting here, and I was just showing her like the stuff on my makeup desk. So I get up to go smoke some weed, and she gets behind me and she's like caressing my back. She's like, you have such soft, smooth skin, like you're giving me such mixed signals, baby. Like, what are we gonna do? And I'm like, I don't know. I have a girlfriend. And it just goes back and forth for a while. She goes like this to kiss me, and I go like back like this because I don't know that we've already apparently kissed before when I was blackout drunk. And this is where the van comment comes in, where I make a stupid joke about how I stole your van, even though I'm right next to her the whole time. And she insults me to my face. I already wrote about that on Reddit. I really don't feel like talking about it again.
We'll have a look at that Reddit post later, of course, but just to make some things clear, Lexity showing up and her already being blackout drunk, you can't really blame that on Lexity. Like, yeah, she showed up a lot earlier than she said she would do. Obviously, that seems a little bit pushy, seems a little bit like she's desperate to sort of meet these people, but I think it would be unfair to pin her being blackout drunk on Anastasia. Because if someone who's blackout drunk tries to kiss you, and you're stone cold sober, especially if you're not, if it's your first time meeting especially, it's like, you have a responsibility, like a moral obligation in my opinion, to swerve it, deny it, and get them some help. It doesn't fucking matter that they're the ones initiating it, because they're blackout drunk and you're stone cold sober. And you should know that, especially as an influencer who has this sort of power imbalance over her to begin with, especially when her girlfriend is in the fucking house with you. Now, if Lexity was the one who initiated that kiss, then it's even more fucked up, for obvious reasons. Because once again, that is sexual assault. You are engaging in intimacy sexually with someone who is literally unable to consent. And when she sort of woke up from her drunk state or whatever, and Lexity is allegedly still trying to like rub up on her and kiss her and shit, and a few moments before that was sort of rubbing on her crotch region, I don't know, it definitely doesn't paint nice signals as to who initiated. But again, this is one of those situations where even the best case scenario, Anastasia is still in the wrong.
But I told her she had to sleep on the couch because she really upset me and hurt my feelings. I woke up the next day, I was vomiting, she starts screaming. And she gets mad that I make a joke and I say the word prostitution on her stream, and she insists that I said it on purpose to get her stream banned, which I definitely did not. Would not do that. I apologized profusely, and she does not care. I blocked her, and she started saying that I was trying to stab her or harass her. Not true. She was saying that I sexually harassed her on the phone call. How can I be the one sexually harassing you when you are flashing me your tits and your dick on a video call, and I'm sexually harassing you? I generally don't understand. I ended up finding out that Anastasia says that while I was blackout drunk, she sucked on my boobs, and I don't remember this happening at all. Kissing, making out, and she sucked on my boobs. She said that I did that to her as well. I just don't think that I would. It could be a lie. When I found that out, I did start crying. I was just thinking about that and how that happened, and immediately after that, she insulted me to my face.
Okay, a lot to unpack there. First of all, we'll go over the clips of what Anastasia sort of claimed happened later on, like, because there's a lot of it. She went fucking mental at this story. I mean, if we thought the last, it genuinely just it gets worse and worse, every victim.
I ended up finding out that Anastasia says that while I was blackout drunk, she sucked on my boobs, and I don't remember this happening at all.
Interesting. So Anastasia was the one who said that she was sucking on her boobs while she was blackout drunk. So she fucking admitted it. When she was blackout drunk, unable to consent, she is engaging in sexual intimacy with her. And that is like, that's not like that's like hardcore sexual intimacy. There's no withering or wavering around that. That is like complete sexual abuse. We'll have a look at those clips and everything that Anastasia said about this, and all the admittance a bit later on. I want to sort of get through this video first, but none of it paints a pretty picture.
And then she tried to blackmail me and say that we're no longer going to be friends at all unless you make a video discrediting all the victims and yourself. Like, tell them that you sexually harassed me and that I never sexually harassed anyone at all, like, or abused anyone or anything like that, even though there's proof of it. It really fucked a lot of shit up for me and a lot of other people, and you will never take accountability for it, apparently. Something I failed to mention is that while I was drunk, Anastasia did end up hugging my girlfriend and groping her and her ass without consent as well. When I was crying, after she insulted me to my face and told me that my face is disgusting and that my jaw is too big. I was crying and shaking, and I ended up saying that I really want to hug my mother and my father because I'm originally from North Carolina and I moved here when I was 18. I just turned 26. And when I said that, she wrapped her arms around me and she said, yeah, I'm mommy and daddy. And I'm like, no, I'm talking about like my parents. I want to hug my parents. She also asked my partner if we could all have a threesome. Just found out what happened to me. I asked Anastasia about it. And I felt like she would only give me information if I phrased it in a way that was like, oh, I'm interested, or oh, tell me more because I like it. So that's what I did, and that's how I got the information out of her. I asked her what happened and like all of that, gathering information.
Yeah, and no doubt Anastasia took that as, oh, she was into it. Look, here's proof she was into it because she was asking all like sexually or whatever. And it's like, no, she was doing what she had to do to get the information of what actually happened because she couldn't fucking remember any of it. Again, she doesn't really have anything to be ashamed of there. Like, I believe her when she says that. Obviously, she feels violated as fuck and she wants to know what happened to her.
Anastasia was also love bombing me when I woke up and she was on my lap. She was saying that she was in love with me, that she loves me, that I'm everything she's ever wanted. She told me last time I talked to her that she wanted me to personally tattoo my first name on the back of her calf. And I do think that she was getting upset that I was rejecting her advances when I was sober again and in my right mind and not blackout drunk, because it's almost like I didn't want to do that in the first place. And it's almost like if you're sober, Anastasia, it's almost like I can't consent if you know I'm blackout drunk. You said that you didn't know I was that drunk when things started, but when I'm drunk, you know I'm drunk. I'm a fucking alcoholic. I think me rejecting her advances, plus the like snarky, haha, I stole your van comment, both of those things really upset her and made her blow up at me and scream in my face even more when she was insulting me, which is very fucking terrifying, by the way. I'm sure you've all seen her scream. Another thing is that anytime I would have a disagreement with Anastasia, she would completely disregard everything I was saying to her. She would look at me and she would scream, stop bratting. You're bratting right now, stop bratting. Even though I've told her multiple times that I'm not a submissive. When I told her that, she said, that's not true. You just need I know what you need. You just need a mommy like me. Like, I'm mommy and daddy. She said that to me twice. She was essentially like disregarding like my preferences and trying to, I guess because she likes how I look or like wanted to have sex with me, that she wanted me to be submissive to her in the way that she wanted to, even though I'm not submissive at all. She also told me that because she is a trans woman and a minority, that all cis women should be submissive to her because she's a trans minority, regardless of their preference.
Yeah, she definitely seems to like using her sort of transgender identity as a weapon against people when it's convenient for her. Now, there's a lot in that video, of course. I feel like everything will become clearer when we actually have a look at the stuff that happened before and after, both on her end and Lexity's end. So let's do that, right? So this message here, as well as this message here, is absolute proof of the fucking love bombing. She has this horrible habit of meeting people who are fans of hers and immediately using language like this. It is inherently abusive. It's fucking awful. The power imbalances are obvious, blah, blah, blah. We've gone over it so many times because she doesn't stop fucking doing it. So again, at best, it's still really fucking bad. Here's a screenshot here of Anastasia admitting that stuff happened and that they were unclear on what the boundaries were, let alone if they were crossing any. But if you don't know what the boundaries are and you don't know this person and they're drunk and they're a fan of yours, maybe don't risk doing anything. It's just so fucking irresponsible, and it really does seem as though you're just taking advantage of the fact that there's someone who's very easy to, I don't know, manipulate or abuse in front of you. She does that all the time, man. Every one of these fucking victims is like people who are in vulnerable situations that she can just sort of prey upon. It's disgusting. There is a short clip of the live where they first met up, where Haylee is drunk as fuck, basically, where for some reason she went live. Like, why would you go live when you first meet? I don't fucking know, man. There's so many things about this woman that befuzzle me.
Sweat and dogs.
Yeah, I'd rather do. You scared the crap out of me.
What's going on in here?
Nothing.
This is such a big place.
Yeah, it is. I'm just streaming. I'm streaming, actually. So what's going on?
Right now? With no shoes on?
Do you want to say hi to people?
It smells like wood. It smells so good.
Okay, yeah. You're so pretty.
Thank you. Can I sit here?
First you can sit here. That's fine.
How many medications should I take from here?
No.
What's she taking today? Hello.
No. You're cute.
Is this your active pen?
Yeah, it is. I have 2 active pens because I am not.
Another one. What's this? I'm not gonna say it out loud, but I will keep this in mind.
No, you won't. Whoa.
Yes, I will. Diabolical diabolo sauce. Always the plan. There you go. Okay. Come on, what is this? Tic Tacs? She's not ready for me to get in the car.
I'm not ready for it.
She's
I'm not ready for anyone.
Her seat is filthy.
My seat, everything is filthy.
She's not even wearing shoes.
I'm not. These are, yeah. I know what they are.
Why does it look bigger on the camera?
How does it look bigger on the camera?
Why is this being live streamed, the fucking freak? What is this, man? And yeah, she doesn't sound sober. Like, she sounds drunk as fuck. We can't even see her either, but like, just the voice itself.
But to cut a very long story short, after driving around this entire country trying to find anyone who actually wanted to be there for me through some very difficult times I was going through, I actually found that.
See, look, again, this is like, it just sort of confirms everything we've been talking about. This fucking incessant, just strange, really unhealthy behavior where she is literally driving around the fucking country looking for fans of hers that she can make into partners. How the fuck could you possibly victimize yourself in situations like these? It's abhorrent, man. This is objectively fucking strange and deranged behavior from you. You fucking weirdo. You're so weird, man. Like, how can you say that with a straight face and not realize how much of a fucking weirdo you're being? You're driving around looking for viewers to manipulate.
This is my house. This is my home. It's my partner's house, but I live here. I actually have a lease here just because that was the easiest way for me to get proof of address, and I needed a proof of address to get my ID changed to this state and also to get my sink for my van, which is actually the last thing I really need to do on my van other than put in solar panels and I suppose just keep adding stuff. I'm not really ever going to be done, but I want to get the sink in there, and that's like the last major thing I need to do before it's like a living space. However, this is my house, and I have managed to find myself a loving partner. She loves me very much, and a dog.
She talks about partners like she's just gone shopping at fucking Walmart for them. Like, oh, I found a decent partner today, 50% off, and they love me a lot, so I reckon I'll keep this one. The last few, they weren't working too well for me. They didn't really like it when I yelled at them or sexually assaulted them, so I bent them off. But this one doesn't mind it, so I'll stay with this one. Anyway, we already know that all of Anastasia's takes on alcohol are fucking great, so let's see what else she has to say about alcohol and drunkenness and consent, shall we? They literally jumped on top of me. Drunk people can definitely sexually harass someone. Yeah, true, they can, but they can't consent, like this person here says. So they cannot consent. It is the job of the sober person to recognize that. There is no excuse he sexually assaulted her. Someone asked what they did, to which Anastasia says they were very pushy with my boundaries, and they kept setting boundaries that they would cross despite me trying to stop them, which is just deeply confusing. I would rather this just be a personal issue. They are accusing me of SA because they were very aggressive with me sexually. They got drunk and low-key sexually harassed me. Now they are blaming me. She also says, to be clear, they literally jumped on top of me. I literally couldn't keep them off me. You definitely could have kept them off you. It just seems as though you didn't want to. Like, you apologized for doing stuff with her. Like, you were very clearly, like, I don't know, for lack of a better word, enjoying the experience and actively engaging in it. And if you needed any, like, actual evidence, I think this is the worst evidence here, is like the actual, like, text messages proof here, which we'll read, obviously, because these are very important. Interestingly, these messages were actually posted by Anastasia, and I suppose it was meant to be evidence that she didn't do anything, but I don't know how she thought this didn't incriminate her even more. Shit like, I'm weirdly sure you will be in my life forever. I feel very connected to you, and just definitely always want the best for you too. She says this to fucking everyone after knowing them for a couple of hours. And it's like, look, yes, I understand that if you look at her message there, she's also using language that is quite strong and, you know, pushy, but she is a fan. There is a power imbalance here. You should know this by now. Like, you should not be proceeding with, like, the lack of caution that you are constantly. Here we go. I did hug you a lot when you were here, I think. To which she says, you definitely enjoyed touching me. It was hard to keep you off of me, actually. Not that I was complaining. Okay, so she was consenting according to her. And, you know, she actually had the ability to consent because she was completely sober. Yeah, you can definitely tell here that Haylee isn't trying to recount this story in, like, a sexy way. It definitely seems as though from the vibe change of the messages that they're genuinely a little bit worried now and are trying to inquire as to like what actually happened, but aren't doing it in a sort of interrogative, sort of antagonistic way, because they're actually trying to get the information out of Anya as, I guess, reliably as possible. Like, I'm completely able to believe that. Here we go. Haha, yeah, I heard who kissed who. You kissed me first, I believe, right? The I believe there is pretty fucking important, especially because she can't remember anything. You could just lie about anything. I definitely kissed you first later, though. Okay, so that is an admission of sexual assault. Let's be fucking real here, that's what it is. She's drunk, blackout, she cannot fucking consent. You also asked me to suck on your boob. Right, which any responsible adult, especially when there's such a power imbalance, would have said, no, you're fucking drunk, you have a girlfriend, this is ridiculous. They're admitting it here as well. We made out like a bunch of different times. I started some of them. Did you in fact suck on my boobs? Yes, I did, lol. Also, it occurs to me now that there's not really a charismatic way to say that. They say there was no sex, it was all night. And then she says, you are everything I've ever wanted? She asks, how so? Which she responds with fucking this disturbing bullshit over here. She then says that she likes to jerk off in Haylee's mother's mouth, which is an interesting comment to make, I suppose. I could not fucking imagine messaging a viewer this way. I want to vomit just thinking about it, man. Like, what the fuck is wrong with this woman? I don't care that they're reciprocating. This is a fucking fan of yours. There's such an imbalance. And then she says, do you still want to be friends? Because I do still, despite it all. Again, wanting to be friends with someone who is falsely accusing you of sexual assault. It confuses me. It definitely confuses me. Almost as though they weren't actually lying about it to the extent that you're saying they were. She, unsurprisingly ended up deleting this post where she posted all the fucking screenshots because she realized that she was unintentionally admitting to sexual assault by engaging in you know, sexual activity with someone who was blackout drunk. Just to be clear, I do know that Haylee and her partner are in an open relationship, or at least they were at the time. But let's be real here. This girl is speaking to fans of hers who she knows have an interest in her, both physically, emotionally, whatever, from the content. She then visits them, knowing that they are interested in her. She cannot then act surprised when they, I don't know, when they pursue her. This is why you went there. And then you start all the love bummy bullshit, and you engage back, and you're not complaining, and you're clearly enjoying it. And when they're blackout drunk, you still fucking continue it. And we get this very interesting video with a description that you can read whilst it plays, I guess.
So you're not gonna like this take, but drunk people can absolutely consent to sex. I was an alcoholic.
You know what? It's like, do we even play the rest of the fucking video? It's like, that is just objectively wrong. There is no psychologist. There is no victim. There is no one with any fucking... There's just no one reasonable who will agree with that statement because it's bullshit. Like, that's the only thing. Well, that's the kind of thing that only people with ulterior or horrible motives would try to parrot.
I was drunk every single day for like 3 years. I had a lot of sex during that time, and it wasn't all coercive. I knew what I was doing, and it is not up to other people to determine how drunk I am when they also might be intoxicated, and when I might be concealing how intoxicated I am. Yeah? You need to be very, very drunk for you to not be able to consent. Like, can't really walk or talk straight, right? Like, the kind of drunk where it is impossible for you to conceal how drunk you are. And at that point, yeah, you can't really consent to sex. But there is a large space in between sober and blackout drunk where you are very able to consent and even likely to try to consent just because alcohol makes people horny. Yeah, alcoholics can absolutely consent to sex, and they regularly do.
I mean, this just sounds like cope. It just sounds like justifying why you engage sexually with someone who was clearly drunk. Because they're sort of just changing the rules or, I don't know, bending them slightly to defend yourself. It's like, where's the line exactly? Do you not think that you have a responsibility as a content creator who is meeting a fan that's clearly interested in you to deny sexual intimacy with them, no matter what the level of drunkenness is? It's like, you're a fucking grown woman. You need to get a grip. You need to get a grip, and you have to grow the fuck up, because it's ridiculous, man. Like, it is just ridiculous. Like, I'm willing to give her grace when it comes to certain parts of this story, but like I say so many times, even if it's best case scenario, right? Even if there are small lies being told by, you know, certain victims or whatever, even if they're lying about huge parts of this, at best, even if everything she's saying is true, she is still a fucking deviant. A fucking deviant who's taking advantage of these, like, of these implicit power dynamics between her and viewers, as well as just people in emotionally vulnerable positions, and that she knows are in vulnerable positions. She knows are in relationships. She knows are drunk. None of it paints a pretty picture at all. Especially when there's so many fucking victims that come out about this shit. She's turned off comments on these videos as well, which is ironic considering this is a person who has gone on and on about how important transparency is.
Hey, sweet pea. So I've experienced a lot of cis women who think that they get to experiment with me, and it's not cheating, and it's not sexual. It is sexual. And if you grab my butt or my boobs, me reciprocating, that's actually, like, you know, kind of normal. That's a normal human interaction. If you don't want me to touch you, don't touch me. And if you touch me first, I don't have to ask, right? I mean, do I? Because, like, you didn't ask.
But this is fucking horrifying because you said earlier that you did ask if you could touch Marcy's breasts or whatever, but now you're defending yourself in the, I guess, obscure case that you didn't ask. It's like, look, I did ask, but even if I didn't do anything wrong. It's like, well, why would you be saying that if you did ask, right? It doesn't matter if, you know, maybe it is okay if you didn't ask, but that's irrelevant here because according to you, you did, right? So why even bother defending the, I guess, hypothetical of you not asking? Kind of makes it seem as though you didn't fucking ask.
She kicked me out because I'm violent when I'm mad. There is zero evidence of that ever. There is zero evidence of that ever. I get angry and I yell. If yelling is violence, then yes, I yell when I am mad. That is it. That's it. That's it. And in fact, my mother filed a restraining order against me that got immediately dismissed because she wasn't afraid of me. Because there is no evidence that I have ever done anything physical to anyone.
Oh no, this really didn't age well, by the way. Because there is now evidence that she assaulted a fucking pregnant woman.
Like without it being self-defense. Which there isn't evidence for either. I just actually have defended myself sometimes, you know? Like, and I haven't hurt anyone. I have never hurt anyone, like, physically. I have gotten angry and I have yelled. That's it.
That's still abusive, though. Especially if, like, you know... I mean, no, it is just like, what she did to Marcella was absolutely fucking abusive. Yelling at Haylee's face as well, like, when, like, insulting her and shit, that is also abusive.
I mean, you know, I've gotten in, like consensual scraps back in, like, fucking middle school. Like, you know... But that's not what we're talking about, is it? No. I am not a physically abusive person, nor have I ever been. And if you believe I am, it's because you're transphobic.
There you go. If you believe that she's abusive, that makes you transphobic. Well, you know what? There's no beating that one, you know? No getting around that. That's checkmate for all of us.
There's a male person here. There's a male person here. And my partner's dog loves male people. Loves them a lot.
I feel like maybe part of her genuinely believes that it's impossible for her to engage in harmful or abusive behavior because she is a part of this sort of minority or oppressed group. But has she fucking heard herself yelling? That shit can be terrifying to so many people. I'm fucking terrified of it, and I'm just watching TikToks of it.
The really harsh truth that nobody wants to admit is that cis women making accusations has and continues to reinforce the patriarchy and many other hierarchies present in our country, right? Like, historically, cis women making wild accusations against people of color caused them to be violently executed in extrajudicial crimes. Yeah, lynchings. It also caused the formation of groups such as the KKK and many other hate groups to protect the white women. You know, the Salem witch trials were started by young girls accusing people. The patriarchy functions in such a way that men are always persecutors and women are always persecuted. Believing that women are always the victims is reinforcing the patriarchy. Yeah, you actually do need evidence, because otherwise you're just reinforcing the patriarchy.
Well, it's a good thing that there's fucking heaps of evidence against you then, eh? Like, what the fuck is she trying to say here? Oh, if you're a woman, don't accuse men. Don't accuse men of anything, because you're actually reinforcing the patriarchy if you do so. Like, yeah, don't falsely accuse people of sexual assault. Pretty good advice, that, to be fair. But it's so obvious that she's making this video as cope. She's just making this video. It's complete cope. She's saying this because there's so many allegations against her. Like, she is a known abusive partner who just got done for assaulting and battering a pregnant woman. I do agree that evidence is important, but that isn't something you can say here because there's so much evidence against her. If there was no evidence, she wouldn't be getting the amount of shit that she is. Like, I don't know, think of what's a recent example? Corey Kenshin, for example. The amount of shit that he went through earlier this year. Why did it get dismissed? because there was no fucking evidence. Or at least no evidence that it was as bad as the initial claims were. The same thing cannot be said for Lexity here. Like, this is just, oh man, it is such obvious fucking coke. Anyway, now she seems to be with someone who is, like, I guess stable in their relationship with her, called Sarah. And Sarah has a dog called Artemis, right? We're gonna get into that whole saga now before the pregnant woman bullshit.
Also loves me very much, and a lot of stability for myself. I hope you remember that change is the only constant thing in the world. Like, everything always changes, and if you hold on long enough, everything always gets better. Good is inevitable.
Fuck off with that wank. Let's move on to the next video.
I give everyone an update on what's going on in my life. I live in Tulsa, Oklahoma with my partner, who I've been dating for 2 months. I'm parked outside of our home right now, her house, where I have drawers and I'm welcome anytime I would like to be. However, I spend a lot more time in my van because this is my home. I'm comfortable here. I have all my things here, and I spend a lot of time with my dog in my van because I want her to be comfortable here, so that no matter where we go, when I start traveling again after she gets all of her shots.
Let's be real, that's not your dog. Let's not make this mistake again. That's her dog. You moved in. She had the dog first. You can say our dog. Fair enough. If you think you're dating, if you think you're in this fucking relationship with them, our dog would be fine. It's not your dog. You cannot say that. Very fucking possessive, especially what we know about your fucking relationship with dogs.
Place to feel comfortable and safe and at home, even if we're very far away from my house. I love her very much, my girlfriend, I mean, and my dog, and my life is really coming together, and I am doing amazingly, both emotionally and in every other way imaginable.
It's just so grim, man. It's been 2 months. You moved in on day 1 because you're messaging people asking for places to live in, essentially, as well as date them. There is nothing normal or stable or healthy about any of this shit.
Hey, sweet pea. So I'm back. I'm gonna start posting again. Hopefully that goes well. Life is hard, but I figure that's just the way life is sometimes. I'm pulling through, because I have a dog to take care of, which is why I'm very glad I have a dog to take care of. But life is hard and sad, and I really, really hope I find somewhere to belong soon.
Shut the fuck up. This is the 21st of October, by the way. This is like recent. We're getting into recent times now. This is them whining and complaining, essentially, because they got caught physically assaulting a pregnant woman. So the video before that was on the 6th of June. I got it right this time. No, May. It's May. 6th of May. Or is that the fucking British version, in which case it's the 5th of June? Whatever, who gives a fuck? It was in the middle of the year, a few months back, innit?
This is Artemis.
Okay. That's the dog. Hopefully the dog's okay. The dog's the only good thing about this. I like that dog. It's really cute, to be fair. Shame that the owner is fucking Lexity. Anyway, this'll be a real shock to you guys, eh?
I'm engaged. Check out my ring. It's Alexandrite, so it's purple in this lighting, but if I go over here to natural lighting, it gets more like greenish blue. Isn't that cool?
The engagement then got called off. Got a wee transcription of the live, because I can't find the actual live anywhere. Hey, so apparently the engagement's off, so that's fun. Like I said, nowhere's ever safe. Also, if you'd like to know what I did, I said, please don't talk to me. And then she wouldn't stop yelling at me, so, and I I specifically told me that boundaries are something you set about what you do. You don't get to set boundaries for what someone else does, and like, I'm like, well, if you don't respect, like, what you do to me at all, you know what, fuck that. You can read all this if you want to. Long story short, it's messy. Who would have thought that someone you moved in with on day 1, who was a fan of yours, who you moved way too quickly with, and the relationship wouldn't exactly go well, when every relationship before this also went fucking horribly because you're a horrible fucking abuser. Who would have known that this one didn't go great either? You got this one here. The ring was four fucking euros and 89. What do they use in Europe? Pennies? Is it still pennies in Europe? So it's not as though it's like a big loss or anything. But like, fuck me. It's just like, what an annoying, abhorrent woman.
So I'm polyamorous and engaged, and if you can't imagine me wanting to sleep with other people without it meaning I love my partner less, then you don't have a definition of love outside of ownership. Like, I'm not saying monogamous relationships are wrong. I'm saying you should be able to imagine a definition of love that isn't owning them. Because that's weird. That
mindset only works if you view monogamous relationships as relationships where you both own each other. So once again, she's exposing more about the way that she views relationships, the way she views love, the way she views consent, the way that she views everything related to intimacy is so fucked up that it makes it so difficult to believe any of the shit she actually says when she defends herself. That alongside the tens of allegations against her, and the strange thing she says about accusing people upholds the patriarchy. It's a bad thing to do. Just oh man. I don't have the words. Again, I've lost words to describe how fucking horrible. I hate her. I genuinely hate her.
So if your definition of polyamory has rules made by people who aren't involved in the relationship, I think you missed the entire point, right? Like, I don't care if you think I should be doing polyamory this way or that way. My partner's opinion is actually the only one that really matters to me. My partner's opinions. They get to set the boundaries, but you don't get to say anything, right? I get to do whatever I want, as long as it doesn't cross anyone's boundaries. Because that's what polyamory is about. And if you're just making up new rules, that's, like, not the point. That's the opposite of the point.
Shame you love crossing people's boundaries then, eh? Like, I don't even know what the fuck is going on at this point, but here's another video, I guess, where she just goes fucking mental again.
So you haven't seen me in like a month and now I'm enraged? Oh, yeah, that's because I have PTSD and I was traumatized. Because I was, like, sexually assaulted and then blamed for it. But right now I'm not really that mad. But I am mad pretty often. Because I was sexually assaulted. Again.
You know, it's so funny. She says that she was sexually assaulted. She has no evidence for that. So she is completely okay with saying, no, you need evidence, otherwise you're upholding the patriarchy, but she doesn't need evidence, right? Despite all the evidence against her that she doesn't need to prove is wrong, she doesn't need any evidence to accuse other people of sexually assaulting her. Now, it's fine when she does it. I'm beginning to notice a trend here. I say beginning, I fucking noticed this last video. You notice it 10 minutes into looking at her. You notice it after one fucking video of hers. You can pick a random video of hers and know everything you need to know about her. She just fucking sucks.
Oh, engaged, not enraged. Oh, sorry. Engaged. Am I? Hi.
This is fucking thrilling content. I'm sure we can all agree. I definitely know why she has a career and why people donated 30 fucking grand for her to buy a van. Because I'm on the edge of my seat here. What fucking content this is. I mean, truly. Fucking masterpiece, this.
Yeah, my special interests are music, mostly. Anyways, I'm gonna get off, so... Love you guys.
I understand why you need to get off now. I mean, that must have taken a lot of energy, that live. You were really, pulling out all the stops there. Anyway, here we go. The infamous arrest for assaulting a pregnant woman. Here's an amazing recap from a potato with a mouth, which I know doesn't look very serious, but it is. Let's just have a look, eh?
Girl, how do I say this? So I've been waiting for something a little bit more substantial to happen before I made another one of these videos. And, I definitely got my wish. Yeah, we'll just say that. I got my wish. Before I even start talking about this, I want to make a few disclaimers. First of all, the person mentioned in this video is innocent until proven guilty. Second of all, I really hope I'm not going to come across as making light of any of this because it's not fucking funny. This is actually ridiculous.
Why? If you don't want to make light of it, why are you potato, mate? You could have just done a black screen sort of voice over it a little. Why are you potato? Whatever, that's not important. Let's just have a watch, eh?
So we got word 2 days ago that the subject of this sub, Anastasia Alexandria Lennon, was arrested for assault and battery on a pregnant woman and resisting arrest.
Wait. Her last name is Lennon. Something about that last name and hitting women. Mate, something about that last name and hitting women and also being weirdly good at music. You know, it's just definitely a strange coincidence for sure. Here we go. Tulsa mugshots. Anastasia Alexandria Lennon, 26 years old, a big age of 26. This fucking lady's 4 years older than me. That's insane. They got arrested for domestic assault and battery on pregnant women and also resisting arrest.
I looked it up at the time and I'm pretty sure she was bailed out 2 days later. I could be wrong about that. I don't think you can still look it up online. And though these actions are alleged, we don't know if she actually did them or not. Neither of the charges strike me as shocking, quite frankly. I don't think anybody was shocked when seeing this. So how did we get here? The last bit of Lexity news that we got came from Reddit user Fit Macron 25, 35. I think that's right. I'm not. Those are transcript from one of the last lives that Lexity did. It says, I guess I'm going to go up north, but the other problem is I don't have a registration in my van. I don't have the registration in my van because I can't get the registration in my van without an address. I had an address, but I got kicked out of there because my ex will only let me stay there under very strict conditions. Personally, the first thing that comes to my mind is what could possibly be meant by strict conditions. We're dealing with an unreliable narrator here. I doubt the conditions were strict at all. Racking my mind for what they could be in the first place, I really just think it was probably something like, stay in your van for the next 30 days and leave me alone. Stop talking shit about me and calling me an abuser on Instagram Reel. Like, seriously racking my brain, I have literally no clue, like, what conditions you could put on somebody who's living in your home. And like,
yeah, that's probably why she wasn't actually specific about what the conditions were. All we know is that they were strict. I am unable to do this thing that I very obviously should be doing because of circumstances and things that are happening that I will not say. Oh, sorry, boss, I can't come into work today. Okay, sure. Why? Are you ill or something? Oh, you know, circumstances and conditions. Like, just fuck off at that. Like, ugh.
Those conditions are strict. Like, I just don't get it. She lives outside in a van. It's not like she told her, don't turn your TV on after 7 p.m. or else I'll never be able to go to sleep. The TV's way too far away for anybody to hear it.
Which, by the way, even if she did make that rule, you're living in her house rent-free. A fan of yours who you've fucking love bomb, manipulated and shit. You live by their fucking rules. It's their house. It's their dog. You're not the fucking dummy mummy here. You're the subby wubby.
I just don't understand, you know? Like, they couldn't have been that strict, girl. Some very helpful Reddit users pointed out that, according to the live, her ex gave her a 30-day period to move out, and that her ex was recording all of their interactions before she left. User Sun Moon Stars also pointed out
Really weird sort of coincidence that every time she gets in a relationship, it's never her that disengages. Every person who has ever been involved with her somehow fucking despises her by the end of it and wants her away from them. I guess the problem must just be them every single time and not the influencer who finds people in vulnerable positions, love bombs them, abuses them, yells at them, and is now hitting pregnant women.
Months upon months to sort out this registration situation, and she chose not to do it. I do think it's concerning that Lexity herself reported that her partner was filming their every interaction, which really makes one wonder why she felt the need to do that in the first place. We also can't forget that pesky Instagram live comment saying that she held somebody down and spit in their face several times to teach them about boundaries. This is alleged. It's just an Instagram comment, who knows? But if she did do something like that to her partner, I mean, it makes sense why she would be recording her, right? It just seems like it would take a lot more than just something small to make that feel necessary to somebody. But you can record somebody on your phone for any reason. I don't know. Beats me. I wasn't there. Well, I'm now getting kind of close to the limit of what Reddit will allow before it starts being rude to me when I try to upload this. But I do have a clip of the very last live that Lexity did before she went silent for several days. The entire live was literally 1 minute and 30 seconds long in full. I cut out the boring parts. Here it is.
My mind. I don't know. I'm just really tired. But it's like so gosh dang hot. Okay? No. I'm not saying I'm okay. No piercings. I'm just sad. I've been trying to just like deal with stuff. I don't know. But it's okay. I'm probably just gonna take a nap. Can't be hot if you're not awake. Where are we today? Somewhere. Anyways,
if anybody's curious, she posted this on July 2nd.
No, I've clocked as well. She's only popular because she's a victim. Like, she's only popular because she whines and complains a bunch. Like, her content is fucking boring. She's fucking boring. She's not funny. She's not entertaining. She just whines and complains and gets accused of assault and abuse. I feel like maybe her come-up was somewhat authentic because of the fun fact videos and the flute boxing, talking about her mum and the dog, and she had sort of some good faith at the beginning, but it quickly became very apparent that she's just a piece of shit! And now it's only ironic support and fucking deranged people who don't know about her supporting her.
So she posted this live in her van looking like she was going cross country or something like that. 6 days later, she's in jail. So that's about all we know about the situation. Maybe we'll never hear from her again. I just really hope that the other person involved is okay, that their baby's okay. It is just truly dastardly to do anything to a pregnant woman. Just absolutely crazy. And yeah, I just hope everybody involved in this situation is doing okay.
Yeah, but the pregnant woman is going to have to acknowledge their responsibility and their part to play and then being assaulted by her. Because as we all know, that's how abuse works, at least according to fucking Lexity. But I know I shot your baby in the fucking head, but it did eat my broccoli. There's some speculation here that the pregnant woman she assaulted was her partner or ex-partner. The same person who apparently bailed them out, which is interesting. Again, that's sort of, speculation, so who really knows? Apparently, according to this Redditor, she was on Instagram Live claiming that the police made everything up and that she wasn't charged with anything. Again, I'm not sure if that's true because there's no video of it, but if it is, then it's bullshit because this is the arrest report right here. And you can't really argue against the validity of it. It says domestic as well, so I guess that does also imply that it was this partner. I wonder why the partner doesn't want you in their fucking house anymore. No, it's because their conditions are too strict. Oh, that's the issue here. If there's anyone to be mad at, it's not the one who assaulted the pregnant woman, but it's the pregnant woman for not wanting said person to be in their house anymore and giving them 30 days notice, by the way. What a saint. I do like the top comment on this mugshot, by the way. Bye, Sweet Pea. That's pretty funny.
Because she cannot communicate her needs. Ever. She doesn't like me being online? No, she doesn't like me being online, and she specifically doesn't like me doing this, which means talking about my life at all, because it involves her, and she's a narcissist. So anytime anything makes her feel bad about herself, she blames me entirely instead of accepting any responsibility.
Maybe it has something to do with you.
That's her complaining about Sarah, the girl that she lived with, the most recent one that fucking kicked her out just recently. Well, I think it's sort of implied that it's Sarah. She doesn't say it explicitly there. But either way, I don't think she has the right to complain about these fucking partners when she's the one who is actively looking for fans of hers to move in with on day one and love bomb and do it. I've gone over it so many times. It's like she is so entitled to think that she has any right to complain about these people who are being so undeservedly kind to her by letting her stay rent-free, giving her 30 days notice to leave or whatever. She doesn't deserve any of this fucking kindness from them. And she's only getting it because they used to be fans of hers, I guess. Here's a comment from Black Cloud Shimmer, who is allegedly her girlfriend, detailing something incredibly dramatic that happened in the relationship. I'm not going to read it out, but it's on screen now if you want to see it. Apparently they ordered a 6-pack of beer afterwards instead of sushi, which she claimed it was. Now, I've just clocked, actually, there is a chance that that spitting incident right there could be the assault charge. Yeah, look, spitting in someone's face is an assault and battery in Oklahoma. Any threat or attempt to cause physical harm is legally called an assault. Yeah, it's very likely, if that story is true, that might have been the alleged assault here. Anyway, then she had a sort of just pearly things men's rights era, which is interesting. So here we go. Here's her talking about the patriarchy and how women benefit from it, which we should all listen, because she's a great intellectual. She's only said agreeable, smart, intelligent things so far, so let's hear more about what she has to say. It is depressing that boys get blamed for a system that predates them and harms them. Women are exactly as responsible and exactly as much of victims. Life expectancy and happiness are ridiculously important metrics. Power is poison, and I refuse to blame those that never chose it. Alright, well, let's have a look, shall we?
So blaming men for a system that they were born into makes as much sense as blaming women for a system that they were born into. And if you think that it is solely men holding up the patriarchy, you literally have not met very many women, okay? There is a huge number of women who benefit from the patriarchy and uphold it, on their children, right? And on top of that, blaming men for their lower life expectancy and blaming men for their mental health crisis is certainly definitely making them worse and not making them want to fight the patriarchy. If you refuse to let men view themselves as victims of the patriarchy, why on earth do you think that they would ever help you dismantle it?
Is there anyone out there arguing that there's no woman on the fucking planet that benefits from the patriarchy or is upholding it, whether it be intentionally or not? So I'm just not sure this person is as fucking fucking switched on or, I don't know, as out the box or controversial as they think they are. I don't know many reputable or popular women online who are blaming men for, you know, the suicide rate or the mental health crisis, for example. Now, there's a difference between blaming men for it and, you know, calmly explaining why it's a thing that exists. Like, if you point out the reason as to why the suicide rate for men is higher, that doesn't really count as blaming them. You sort of need to find the reason out so that you can help fix it. And it's pretty simple. Like, when women who have female friends are sad or, you know, potentially on the verge of a really horrible mental health crisis, maybe even thinking about doing something horrible like suicide, they tend to talk to each other about it. They have, like, when you hear women talk to each other about emotions and shit, they have, like, these really deep, fulfilling, amazing conversations about it. It's a lot rarer, I think, generally, it's safe to say, for women to struggle in silence than it is for men. I'm not saying it's, like, exclusive or anything, but I think generally that's true, whereas men who are on the verge of suicide, a lot of the time, you wouldn't even fucking know. Like, there are so many people out there that are, like, would act completely normal, they're, like, completely indifferent from how they usually act, who are on the verge of suicide. And saying that men don't have those emotionally fulfilling and sort of open conversations with each other isn't necessarily blaming them for it, it's just explaining how they can improve, which is important to do. Like, you can't just ignore the fucking issue and hope it gets better.
So if you think men benefit from the patriarchy, you are one, factually incorrect. They have a lower life expectancy and are going through a serious mental health crisis, so they're less happy and less healthy. That's not benefiting, right? And on top of that, you are also arguing for the patriarchy, right? Like, men are victims of the patriarchy, and refusing to let them view themselves that way is an argument for them supporting the patriarchy. Stop arguing.
You know, those aren't really the only metrics to measure happiness or well-being, for example. Like, yeah, women tend to live longer than men, but they're also a lot more likely to be sexually assaulted. That we can go back and forth. We can play fucking ping pong with privileges of being either gender. You can't just pick one or two things that one gender goes through and go, you know what, it's actually easier for them, or the exact same. It's incredibly fucking reductive and irresponsible and dumb. Like, anytime she actually tries to talk about something complex, it's incredibly stupid and surface level and, most importantly, wrong. Fucking naive and every word under the sun that is negative.
So if you think that gender and sex are the same thing, why do you think that it is normal to color code your children so that strangers know what their genitals look like? You know, in my system, one where gender and sex are separate things, dressing your children doesn't let strangers know what their genitals look like, because that's a weird thing for you to want strangers to know about your children.
What the fuck is she talking about? What is this comment? This is actually super interesting. Is it? I'm gonna have to watch this again because I don't understand what she's on about. There's so many questions here. What do you mean by color code the children? You don't paint them. You maybe, I guess, is she talking about you put clothes on that tend to be maybe some are blue, some are pink? You can't just wear beige. If a parent dresses their wee daughter in pink, it's not because they want people to think about the wee fucking baby's genitalia. It's because they want to know what that baby was assigned at birth. They want people to know the sex of the baby, right? The sex is female. There's just no, oh my god, what is she I genuinely am, again, if I'm missing something here, let me know. But on the topic of Anastasia talking about children and their, we're done. I think we're done. That's the end of this video. If you want another video on Anastasia, be sure to let me know. I'm sure there might be more to talk about. But for now, again, I've been recording for an exorbitant amount of time. I feel bad for my editor who has to comb through all this shit. So hopefully you'll enjoy the video as usual. Be sure to head over to my Instagram and vote on that poll because you will be deciding the fate of my locks from now on and forever. But aside from all that, again, hope you all enjoyed. If you did, be sure to subscribe to the channel, like the video, leave a comment, and I will catch you all in the next... Oh, Merry Christmas, by the way. Hope you had a good Christmas. This will probably be up on Boxing Day or the 27th or something, but hope you all enjoyed, you know? And if you don't celebrate Christmas, I hope you just had a good day, you know? But, in a bit. Bye!